Hi, in this video I'll show you how to factor a quadratic equation with GCF. So whenever you have to factor the trinomial, you have to think, can you factor out something from this equation? Do they share something in common? Well, when you look at this equation, you notice that they share something in common, which is, what do they share? They share 7 in common. So what I can do is I can factor out 7. So when I factor out 7, now what I have to do is I will open the parentheses here, and then I have to divide every single term with 7. So let's divide 7a squared by 7 first. So I will divide the first term by 7 and see what do I get. So 7 and 7 will cancel out each other. The only thing I'm left is a squared. So I will write a squared inside the parentheses. Now I have the negative sign. I'll put the negative sign. Now I have to divide 14a by 7. So let's divide 14a by 7. Now 14 divided by 7 will give me 2, and then I'm left with 2a. So I'll write here 2a. Then I have the negative sign, and 21 divided by 7, we can do that mentally. 21 divided by 7 will give me 3. Now, so the first thing you have to do to factor the trinomial is you have to see if you can find the GCF. GCF is the greatest common factor. So what is do they share anything in common or not? Yes, if they share something in common, then you factor that out and you divide every single term with that factor. Now, this is a quadratic expression again. So what we have to do is we'll solve it by AC method. That means you multiply the coefficient of the x square, or in this case we just have the variable a square, so the coefficient of a square and then the constant term. So what is the coefficient of a square? It's 1. So we'll multiply 1 times, and then we have the constant term as negative 3. Now make sure that you include the sign as well. So 1 times negative 3 will give me negative 3. Now I have to think of two numbers which when multiplied to give me negative 3, but which when added to give me the middle term of the trinomial. What is the middle term? Middle term is negative 2a. We'll just ignore the variable for now. I'll just only focus on the number. So we have negative 2. So you have to think of two numbers which when multiplied to give you negative 3 and which when added to give you negative 2. So let's first find out the factors of 3. What are the factors of 3? Well, 3 is a prime number. What could be the factors of 3? So factors of 3 are only 3 and 1. So now we know for sure that, let's see if this works or not. So 3 times 1 will be 3. Let's just ignore the sign for a moment and work on only on the numbers, only on the values. 3 times 1 will give me 3, and 3 plus, well, when you subtract 1 from 3, 3 minus 1 will give me 2. That means these two factors will work. So I will write these two factors inside. Now I have to only focus on the sign, because I know that the factors will be 3 and 1. But since I'm getting negative 3 in the multiplication, that means one factor has to be negative. One factor has to be negative, and I don't know which factor is negative. So what I'll do is I'll look at this now. So when you add a positive and a negative number, you know for sure that one number is positive and one is negative. Now we don't know which one is positive and negative. When you add a positive and a negative number, and the end result is a negative number. The end result is the negative number. Then what do you think? Which number will be larger? Is the positive number larger or the negative number larger? Now we know that we always keep the sign of the negative number. That means the negative number has to be larger. When I say that negative number has to be larger, I'm just talking about the absolute values, right? So suppose if we have negative 6 plus 3. So what will be the answer? The answer will be negative 3. Why? Because we are just subtracting. 6 minus 3 will give me 3. And then I have to keep the sign of the larger number, the absolute value. I'm looking at the absolute value. So which number is larger, 6 or 3? I'm not looking at the signs. I know that 6 is larger, so I'm just keeping the sign of 6. So here also we do the same thing. Now I know for sure that one number is negative, and I'm just trying to determine which number is negative. And when you add a positive and a negative number and the end result is negative, that means the negative number has to be larger. So that means we know that 3 is larger here, so I will put the negative sign in front of 3. So that means this will be negative 3. So we know that negative 3 and 1 are the factors of this equation. So I'll write 7 here, then inside I will have, what is the y variable this time? My variable is a. So I'll write a, then the first factor is -3, so I will write -3, and the other factor is +1. So this is my final answer. So what is the factor of this equation? 7a minus 3 and a plus 1. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next video.